Hello, Out Entrepreneurs. Rhodes Perry here, and welcome to episode number 19 of The Out Entrepreneur, a weekly podcast where I get to interview today's most inspiring LGBTQ bosses crushing it in business. On today's show, we are focusing on two key elements every out boss needs to master: our mindset and our wealth. And I couldn't think of a better guest to lead this conversation, James Nolan. James, are you ready to inspire fellow out bosses?
Rhodes, I am ready.
Excellent. All right. So a little about James. James is a survivor of a childhood riddled with domestic violence and alcoholism in the rural foothills of Southern Virginia. Today, James serves as the founder and CEO of the award-winning firm Excel Global Partners, an executive consulting firm. He founded the company in 2007 and has since led successful engagements in 15 countries and in more than 20 states. He is also about to release his first book, The Purposeful Millionaire, a guidebook featuring 52 rules that teaches people about mastering the millionaire mindset and getting the most out of life, doing more, living more, and achieving more. To kick off the interview, James, tell us just a little bit more about your business and what makes it unique.
So, Rhodes, first, I want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here as an out entrepreneur who has been blessed to succeed at a very high level and a scaled level with this business. My company is Excel Global Partners, and more information can be found about that at excelglobalpartners.com. But we are a corporate consulting firm that specializes in providing executive services to C-suite executives within corporations around the world. We've done work in more than 15 countries and more than 20 states across the United States. And it's grown from a one-man shop to me having a very large team of subject matter experts who help to assist companies and organizations in navigating them through financial and operational change. So we're the brainy guys who come in to help C-suite executives to really improve an organization or corporation. And our target client has ranged from the mid-market, which I call, $10 million and above to the billion-dollar mark, all the way up to the Fortune space. And we've got a number of significant Fortune 100 clients, as a matter of fact. And we've got government agencies that we work for, as well as nonprofit organizations. So what started as a one-man shop back in 2007 and is going on its 10th anniversary this year in 2017 has grown exponentially. And I'm very blessed to work in that business with my husband, John Sheldon, and to be the recipient of the 2015 NGLCC Business of the Year Award at the national level.
Wow. Okay. So you're not only a business titan, you're also a speaker, and now you're about to be an author. So you're very, very busy. You're obviously crushing it. What is the one thing right now that has you most inspired about the work that you're doing?
Wow. So the one thing that's got me most inspired about the work that I'm doing, Rhodes, is the fact that the fact that you can have the life of your dreams and create wealth and happiness that you've always wanted is going to be found in this book. Now, previously, before writing the book, my success methodology and my coaching had been limited to my clients. This is my opportunity to share the powerful tools within this book to the rest of the world. And I had a vision just a couple of weeks ago, and that was within 1 year, more than 1 million people would be touched by my book. That makes me so excited thinking about, I've got this methodology in place. I put these 52 rules together for creating a life of wealth and happiness. And now every single person who wants access to the American dream or the dream wherever they are can have these rules right in their hands. The book, to me, is more than a memoir that talks about me turning a life of lemons into lemonade. It's a book about strategy. It's a book about challenging one's prior beliefs and focusing on creating the mindset and the consciousness of abundance in life. And for me, that abundance mindset was not something that happened overnight. This has really been a 20-year overnight success story, Rhodes, where I started in high school and in college, dreaming about where I wanted my life to go. Now, prior to that, growing up in the rural foothills of Virginia, I would watch TV and see the Huxtables, and I would see this very successful doctor married to this lawyer. And I actually ended up going to medical school and quitting medical school because I didn't want to be a doctor. I thought, well, I can be a good doctor, but I can't be an extraordinary doctor. And then I went to law school and became a corporate attorney and realized that didn't want to continue my practice in law. So the genesis of Excel Global Partners, which eventually led to this book, The Purposeful Millionaire, is the result of the challenges that I've lived through in my life, the decisions that I've made, and the plan that I put into place to actually create wealth. Because it took me a while to get to where I wanted to be. It took a lot of challenges. It took a lot of learning along the way. But now, Rhodes, I'm in a position where I've had enough suffering in my life, enough challenges that I've overcome, and enough blessings too, to realize that I would be remiss if I did not share this message, this toolkit of creating wealth and prosperity and happiness with others. I have been blessed, and this book is my toolkit for blessing others.
You're definitely very, very passionate about not only generating wealth for yourself and for those directly that benefit from being within your family and your network, but also giving back to basically anyone who's open to your message. And I loved on your website, you had someone who is recommending your book that's about to come out, really referencing you as this kind of 21st century Napoleon Hill. And for those not familiar, very famous author in the 30s who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And so it definitely seems like this book is just kind of fresh. It's kind of dusting off some of the old kind of things that we know about generating wealth, but making it more accessible and relevant for this kind of changing environment that we're in today. And so you mentioned your career serving as a corporate lawyer, and 2007, take us back to 2007, because that was a moment when you founded your company. What brought you there? And my question starts from just recognizing that for many entrepreneurs, we start out for one of two primary reasons. And obviously they can be a hybrid of those things or other things. But what I find interviewing guests is that either people start out because they feel a calling to pursue a purpose-driven idea, and for others, because of workplace culture, they feel that they can no longer conform in a workplace culture that doesn't value who they are. On the show, we talk about bringing our authentic selves to work and being innovative because people really value our unique value add. And I'm just curious, James, for you, which side of the coin did you land on in 2007 when you were first thinking about taking that entrepreneurial leap?
So back in 2007, Rose, I really landed on both sides of the coin. I was first blessed to be recruited by a top law firm in Texas after having completed my studies at Duke Law School. And I worked at this law firm, and I was the first in my family to make it to the really big white-collar leagues. And I was making well over $100,000 a year, and I had a floor-to-ceiling glass office overlooking the city of Dallas, and I thought that I was living the fabulous life. However, I was not living an inspired or a reflective or an empowered life. And during that time, I worked for a partner at the law firm, and he expressed on a number of occasions his disappointment in having to work with not only an associate of color, but also one who was gay. Now, note that this was back in 2007, and there were limited protections, and there still are limited protections today for gay people who are open and out in the workplace. I knew that in order for me to bring my best and to build 2,000 hours plus at that law firm each year, that I needed to be respected. And I would literally vomit in the parking lot before walking into the tower each morning because this senior partner had so much power over me. At one point, he told me, make sure you stay in your office, make sure that my clients don't find out about you. And then on the other hand, he would tell me, well, you're smart and you're really gifted at this stuff, and you did a great job on drafting this document. So I was really at a crossroads where I had to evaluate how I saw myself and the authenticity that I wished to bring to the universe. Now, imagine, a 26-year-old who's making $130,000, $150,000 a year, first in his family to do that, but who really doesn't understand the code of compliance within a conservative law firm environment, who's wondering, am I doing the right thing? Should I be less authentic? Should I hide who I am? Should I hide my identity? All those things were eating at me on a daily basis. I would walk through the hallways of the law firm and smile at people and greet people and pretend to be joyous and to be happy to be at this really powerful law firm and to have the responsibilities that I had. But on the inside, I was being eaten alive. So one day, my attorney, the attorney who I worked for, the senior partner, walked up to me, and he was overheard by another senior partner, and he said something to the effect of, James, if you script these documents, I'll fire you on the spot. And he embarrassed me in front of a number of people, and the other senior partner overheard that statement. The next day, the senior partner who overheard the statement came into my office and said, "Does he always talk to you like that? That was really humiliating, the way that he treated you in front of others. James, you're really smart. You shouldn't be treated that way." And I had reached rock bottom in my life because I did not have role models to help me navigate this space. And I was being eaten up on the inside. It was affecting my health. It was affecting my mental well-being. And I burst out into tears in front of that partner. And I said, "Yes, he does. Yes, he does." At that point, I knew that something had to change. I knew that in order for me to be successful in my career, in order for me to get my guts back and to get my mojo and my swag back, I had to make a change. So the senior partner talked to the CEO of the law firm. The CEO of the law firm called me and said, "You know what? We want you to stay. You're a really great attorney. You know, you're performing at a really high level." And I said, "No, my mind's made up. I have to leave." Now, this is one thing that I know, Rhodes, is that we might not always know what's on the other side of the journey, but taking the first step is the most powerful thing. It can be the most daunting thing at times, but it's the most powerful thing that you can do when the situation does not suit you. You know, during this time, I was wrecked with law school and medical school and undergraduate debt. I had started to buy things, including a fancy car. It was a BMW 5 Series. And I started to, purchase things that a young 26-year-old guy would do who's making $100,000 and something a year. And I had all this debt. But I went home. I talked to my boyfriend, who now is my husband and my business partner at the time. And he said, "You know what? I support you in walking away. I see what this is doing to you." So I took the first step. I walked away. I did not have a complete plan or vision for Excel Global Partners, but what I did know is that I damn sure respected myself, and I would not allow anybody to ever talk to me that way again. Rhodes, it wasn't something that I look back on and say, "I'm really sorry that that happened to me," because it wasn't happening to me. It was happening for me. It made me wiser. It made me stronger. It made me more confident. And it gave me the ability to look in the eye of anybody going forward to say, "You will not talk to me that way. And you most certainly will not call me out of my name."
Wow, such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that, because, you talk, and I'm sure this is in your book, of just mindset, right? And one of the biggest things, one of the hardest things, and I'm sure for many of our listeners, the struggle of overcoming the fear of taking that first leap. And you brilliantly talked about what was going on for you and the ways that you pushed through that, and all of the magic now that is opened up to you through the company that you founded and all of everything else that has come into your life. And I'm curious just to talk really briefly on the topic of workplace culture. You experienced obviously something that unfortunately many people who are not a part of a dominant workplace culture experience, feeling different and being targeted. And I'm curious, what's one thing that you do at Excel Global Partners to create a more inclusive environment for those folks that you work with, especially people that may feel excluded by traditional employers like the law firm that you worked with?
Leadership begins at the top, and I model confidence in authenticity. For me, as an openly gay Black man who leads my company with true authenticity, that empowers my employees to live in true authenticity themselves. Our workplace culture is one in which we are supportive. We have a family-like environment, but we're also not a tiny or small business with one or two employees. So we celebrate religious differences. We celebrate differences in sexual orientation, gender expression, race, political affiliation, all those things. And people like working in that kind of environment where they can bring their truest, authentic selves. One of the things that I learned early on, particularly with the success of Excel Global Partners, is that it takes so much energy to fake who you are. And if you fake who you are in the workplace, you can't put forth 100% into doing your job. Mm-hmm. By coming into a boardroom and being comfortable with and liking myself, I am able to make a better connection with the stakeholders at that table and a better friendship where we know that we're going to be having a better solution at the end of the day because I'm bringing my authentic self. And because of that, I'm bringing this most private, intimate, portion of myself to people and not apologizing for it. And that gains the trust of C-suite executives from the Fortune 100 level to government agencies that we serve to nonprofits that we serve all across the world. They like that authenticity. They like me, and they say, well, if James and his company can be authentic about who they are, if these employees can bring their absolute best, then I know that they can bring the best solutions to me. And that's what it boils down to.
Nice. And on the topic of just thinking about your own identity, leading Excel Global Partners, I'd like for you to take us back in serving as the boss, serving as the leading CEO, the founder of this company, and sharing a time where it was difficult for you to bring your whole authentic self, to be an out Black man working with different companies. Is there a moment where you may have felt challenged with being authentically out because you weren't sure that either you may have felt unsafe or you were afraid of losing a potential client? Has that ever popped up for you? And if so, how did you work around that, either to continue working with that client and maybe doing some education for them, or just walking away from the table and potentially leaving, a lucrative contract on the table because of just not being able to be your true self? Can you think of a moment? And the reason why I'm asking is because I think that for many LGBT folks who are thinking about taking that leap, this is one of the fears that pops up.
Rhodes, it hasn't happened to me because I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I've been in this business for going on 10 years now, and I believe that our reputation speaks for itself and that the kind of people that I want in my life are going to come into my life. The kinds of clients that I want in my life will come into my life. I have not been challenged from the perspective that I've had to educate a particular client about race or sexual orientation or anything along those lines, because people see that bold, truly confident me and that authentic character shining through. There's a no apologies kind of mindset that I bring to every situation. And I truly think that people are attracted to that. And I believe that businesses are attracted to my firm and to me because of that kind of confidence. And I've been blessed to not have to encounter those types of situations. I think that the biggest gift that we can give to our God or to our universe is the gift of authenticity and fulfilling one's destiny. And each day when I'm at Excel Global Partners, I'm fulfilling my destiny, and the law of attraction is blessing us with the right kinds of clients that we want to serve. Now, quite frankly, we're at the point right now where if my value system is not in lockstep with a client's value system, then we've got the ability to go in a different direction. We don't necessarily set out to serve clients who don't celebrate diversity or who really aren't going to appreciate us, not because of the content of our character or because of our subject matter expertise, but because of some stupid issue regarding politics or race or sexual orientation or gender expression or those kinds of things. I just haven't had those challenges. Now, let me back up just a little bit. The book, the release date was on April 25th, which is approaching the April 25th, 2017 is approaching the 5-year anniversary of a near-death experience that I had, which was on August 25th, 2012. My body was rescued from a drowning accident in a lake, and very few people thought that I would live. I've gone to the other side. I have had the out-of-body experience. I came back with what I call my awakening and living more purposefully, incredibly authentically, and focusing on not just myself building, but helping others to build themselves. Having had that powerful disruption in my life, which I call my second birthday, and my awakening has given me the kind of confidence where I don't deal with the bullshit. And if there is a racism or xenophobic or sexual orientation or whatever type of comment made, you better hope that James is not in the room, because I didn't come back to this earth to not speak out, to not have a voice, and to be kowtowed to bullshit. I came back to live a purpose-driven life, to help other business owners, to help minority business owners, to help LGBT business owners, to help my community, and to live a fully abundant, powerful, epic life. I know why I'm here. I know what my purpose is, and I will not be silenced.
That's so powerful. And I mean, it's clear that you, by being your authentic self, by not apologizing, you are attracting your dream clients. You're working with people that value you, and that's been clear with everything that you've shared. I'm wondering if there's one thing that considering, all of the success that you've had and, and working around the challenges that have popped up, although it sounds very few with just considering being an outboss, what do you want our listeners to focus in on and make sure they take away to inspire them to bring their whole selves to work and to take that first entrepreneurial leap?
If I could tell myself anything and go back 10 years ago, it would be just a few words. It is, don't compete, be unique. The marketplace rewards authenticity. It rewards people who are comfortable with themselves and who have great ideas and know how to put those ideas into plan. What I talk about in The Purposeful Millionaire is the success formula. Idea plus plan plus execution equals success. You've got to have all three of those components. You've got to be able to come up with the idea. You've got to have a flexible plan in place, and you've got to know how to execute like crazy. Now, everybody has an idea, Rose, and ideas are a dime a dozen. And we have the cousin at the Thanksgiving table who's talking about these crazy ideas that he or she has every single Thanksgiving. Or we have the person at the cocktail party who does nothing but talk about their ideas, but nothing really comes to fruition. We've got to get entrepreneurs to move from the idea phase to the actual planning phase, which should take up about 9% of our time. The idea phase should take up about 1%, but planning should take up about 9% of our time. Now, what's the bulk of the equation that's left over? That's execution. That's 90% of where all of my success has come from, because you learn during the execution phase how the plan should be adjusted. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of folks get trapped in analysis paralysis when it comes to the planning. The main thing is to do a good pros cons analysis, get that plan in place, take that first step of execution out in faith, and just do it. Go, 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 and don't stop. And when you start executing, you'll probably have a moment where you realize, you know what, this is a heck of a lot harder than I imagined. I'm putting in a lot more hours. I'm having a lot more frustration with this than I imagined. But just keep plowing through. If I could tell anybody anything about my day today existence and the amount of hours and work that goes into it, it's a lot more than I think that a lot of people who would imagine who aren't entrepreneurs or who haven't launched a number of businesses. And we have a number of corporations that we own now. It takes a lot. And I don't get very much downtime. And often, all the glamour and the whistles and the bells and, getting access to these kinds of people and fancy vacations and houses and jets and that kind of thing, that's the glamorous part. But there's also a headache-riddled part where my days are extremely long. And the days of my entrepreneur, incredibly successful, wealthy friends are extremely long, particularly those who are self-made. This is not easy at all. Guys, it's not going to be easy. You've got to continue to execute, but just know that if you put 90% of your time into execution and you keep chipping away at that dream, you're going to have a beautiful sculpture eventually. And that beautiful sculpture is success. Idea plus plan plus execution equals success. It ain't easy, but you can do it.
Oh my gosh. So you promised some knowledge bombs. Those are two. Don't compete, be unique. And for all of our listeners, idea plus plan plus execution equals success. And I love the percent breakdown. So thank you for sharing that sneak peek from your book. For right now, we're going to take a very quick sponsorship break. But for our listeners, please don't go anywhere, because when we return, we're going to jump into our bonus round.
HR and diversity professionals. Are you struggling with engaging LGBTQ talent? Do you stay awake at night worrying about limiting litigation risks? Have you considered seeking support around these concerns, but just aren't sure where to turn? Look no further. Rhodes Perry Consulting offers you solutions with the Engaging LGBTQ Talent A to Z certification. This proven 4-week mentorship program delivers skills, offers support, and connects you with other professionals committed to transforming themselves and their workplaces. Learn more about this cutting-edge program by visiting rhodesperry.com and use the promo code RPC for a 10% discount. Take action and visit rhodesperry.com.
Welcome back, Outbosses. We are now going into our bonus round where we'll have the chance to get to know James just a little bit better, gain some insights on how we can bring our whole selves to work, and then learn one way to stay in touch with James after today's conversation. So, James, are you ready for some quick fire questions?
I am ready and I'm already on fire.
Awesome. Yes. All right. So did your LGBTQ identity hold you back from taking the entrepreneurial leap, or did it speed up the process?
I think it sped up the process, and being LGBTQ is one of the best blessings that's ever happened to me in my entire life. It's taught me how to be non-judgmental. It's taught me that it's okay to be creative. It's taught me how to love, to bring that love into the universe and to bring that passion into the universe in a truly authentic way. So being gay is my biggest blessing, and I'm so grateful for it, Rose.
And in one sentence, what does it mean to bring your whole self to work?
Oh, wow. Bringing my whole self to work means that I focus internally on who I am and don't worry about the external. You're going to get judgment wherever you go, whether it's somewhere in public or whether it's in, at a party or a work function or whatever. But, for me, it's just all about focusing on internally who I am and not really giving a damn about what the rest of the world thinks.
Nice. And you've mastered a lot of things in terms of mindset, in terms of managing your business. What's one personal habit that truly helps you master yourself and your business?
Oh, I've got a bunch of them. And in fact, there are 52 rules
right.
that I live by for creating a life of wealth and happiness in the book. But, one of the best habits that I have is to go to bed at the same time each day and to wake up at the same time each day. And when I wake up and I set my intention for the day by first stepping out with gratitude. And that is, I make my bed and I chant, thank you, thank you, thank you, as I make my bed. And that's opening up the floodgates of opportunity and this consciousness of gratitude where I'm telling the universe and I'm communicating with the universe that I'm so grateful that I got to sleep in a quiet home that night or in a quiet hotel, and it was dry and the sheets were clean and I had climate control and I was in a comfortable setting, whereas there's a significant percentage of people on the earth that don't get to get those things. And I had plumbing that works. So I work on mastering this relationship with the universe by bringing habits into my life, like making my bed every single morning, whether I'm in a hotel, Airbnb, or my house, and working on that gratitude equation and focusing on the habits of going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day.
Wow. Such simple things, but really, clearly that's helped guide you, in creating this amazing business. So I've chatted with other people before, and I remember one person who has a somewhat of a similar chant, but it's kind of thank you, happy, more, please. So, really just kind of taking, hitting pause and really taking a good assessment about all that's come into your life, all of the blessings. And as you're doing your book, really giving back to so many people that can benefit. So on the topic of your business, what's one thing that you readily delegate through managing Excel Global Partners to stay focused on what you're good at?
Oh, I know that one of the things that I'm not really good at is finance and accounting. And fortunately for me, my husband's a fantastic chief financial officer, and we've got
Nice.
strong financial and accounting support in the business. So I stay away from that stuff. I know how to read the heck out of a balance sheet and a P&L, but I totally delegate the QuickBooks and the financial files and reporting and all that stuff to him, and he does an amazing job. And I'm so grateful for that. And that frees up a lot of my time to not have to deal with that kind of thing, and to have somebody within the family who I trust on a whole nother level to make sure that our employees are paid, to make sure that we're profitable. And that's why we're all in business. It's all about making money. You can have a passion, but at the end of the day, it's about making freaking money. And for us, it's, being on this wealth creation journey that I want more LGBT business owners to be on.
Nice. And can you share a book or a podcast that has contributed to your success as a boss?
So the number one app that I have on my phone is 3-Minute Mindfulness. I think the success and stress and all of the external things working on us on a daily basis can pull us away from our internal selves. Of course, we like to meditate, we like to breathe throughout the day, and that's one of the things that I do. But on a busy day, I can sometimes forget to breathe and to meditate and to reflect upon my accomplishments of that day. 3-Minute Mindfulness chimes my smartphone or my device or my laptop on a daily basis at set times, and it says, can you feel your toes? Take 3 deep breaths, or take 10 deep breaths, or reflect on the end of your day. It just has little pop-up messages that come into my universe, whether I'm in a meeting or going somewhere from one place to another, that reminds me to recenter and refocus on James, because when James is breathing, when he is meditating, when he can feel his toes, when he can reflect on the day, when he can take 10 deep breaths to cleanse any negativity from his spirit, he is elevated and he is a better person and therefore a better leader, which is going to elevate those around him, his employees, his family, his team, his suppliers, all those people in his universe.
3-minute mindfulness. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm a big meditator, and I know that there's a lot of people that I've interviewed on the show and people who listen to the program that have a dedicated practice. And I agree with you too. You can have the best of intentions of, 20 minutes every morning and life happens. So this is a good way of taking advantage of our smartphones and staying plugged in and reminding ourselves to take breaks as well. So James, thank you so much for your time and for inspiring fellow outbosses. Before we go, can you share just one way that we can stay in touch with you and learn more about your business?
Absolutely. So they can visit me at www.purposefulmillionaire.me. That is me in such as me, myself, and I, because everybody has the power to become a purposeful millionaire. And our book can be found on jamesonamazon.com. The title of the book is The Purposeful Millionaire. And for Excel Global Partners, it's excelglobalpartners.com. And I know, Rhodes, that was more than one, but there's a lot of different ways to find me because I've got a book, I've got a business.
You're a busy guy. You got a lot going on. Yeah. So I'll include all of those ways to stay in touch with you in the show notes. And for Outbosses, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. It is always my privilege to connect with you and so many inspiring outbosses like James. As a next step, definitely check out the show notes for highlights from today's conversation, and please consider leaving a rating and review in iTunes. For now, please keep being your authentic selves 100% of the time.